The voice came from behind Angie. She spun around, surprised. There, covered in blood, yet wearing cheery expressions, were Rudolph and Kirie. Covered in blood. Yeah. Now you have blood in your hands. Both literally and figuratively. After saying that much, George realized what the words meant, and his face twisted into an expression of shock and horror. Maria wasn't surprised. However, she showed no joy at having her answer proven correct. And as for Balor, Angie saw it. A terrible expression that she would never forget as long as she lived. It was a demon's smile. A hideous demon that she'd never be able to look at again. Twisted its face in a foul grin. And the truly horrible thing was that she saw it on her brother's face. To think that Rudolph and Kirie would do such a thing. Like, we've seen it like last time. But now my boy Batora too. Not my boy. And Rudolph and Kirie lifted up the guns they had been holding behind them. The barrels were pointed at the foreheads of George, who was staggering backwards, and Maria, who was grinning as though she didn't care what happened. There was a flash of lightning and a crack of thunder. Nothing more could be heard. Then, as George and Maria were snapped around by that roar, the strings holding them were snipped. The two dolls fell into puddles with a splash, and stopped moving. All this occurred right before Angie's eyes. Angie, who stood stunned beside them, was invisible to their eyes. They guffawed, overcome with laughter. Then, right in front of Angie, they started joking and complimenting each other on their kills so far. The three hideous faces, the faces of her family, made Angie want to cry and vomit at the same time, and she felt as though she would suffocate. Angie dashed away, covering her mouth. She wanted to escape the disgusting laughter coming from her beloved family as soon as possible. Then, she slipped and fell face down in a puddle of mud. Angie didn't try to get up. In fact, she instead chose to cover her ears to block out the disgusting laughter that she could still hear. She did. From the shadows of the fences and bushes in this inky black rose garden, several dark things stepped into sight. Angie looked around herself in surprise, to see that eerie black shapes had appeared from all over the garden and were slowly surrounding her. Ben Castell, I told ya, if you do something bad to harm baby Angie, like emotionally, it is war. If you also do physical harm to baby Angie, you are gonna unleash a nuke. Just saying. It was a crowd of people with goat heads. Their outfits were all different. Some wore suits, while others were dressed casually. However, all of them were covered with darkness, and all of them had goat heads. Angie, bewildered, accidentally let her hands fall from her ears. By now, she couldn't hear the disgusting laughter. However, in its place, She could hear the words spoken by the goats. Whoa. As the goats continued to mumble in eerie voices, they surrounded Angie and began to draw nearer. They all pressed around her, each of them speaking of Angie's family as the culprits. Beller Corporate Fury? Damn. Goats are a bunch of fears, too. At first, everyone had joined in on the Eva Corporate Fury. The sole survivor from Rokijima had gotten almost all the wealth to herself, so the fury was only natural. Why was Ushumiya Eva the only one who escaped to Quadoria? And why did she refuse so stubbornly to talk about what happened that day? It was decided that Eva Corporate Fury explained all of this. However, when Eva died of illness, and people learned that all the vast wealth she had created by unscrupulous means would go to Angie, public opinion, or rather the forgers, created a new corporate fury and spread it around. This was the Rudolph's family corporate fury. If it was normal for everyone to come to the family conferences, why was Angie the only one who didn't come this time? I see. Public opinion. I guess that would be the origin for why we see Kiri and Rudolph as the culprits, both here and in episode 7. Did Rudolph's family have some reason for not bringing the young Angie with them? They did take Beller, but he wasn't Kiri's son. Then, when it was revealed in some magazines that Kiri's family had close ties to a massive gangster organization, all eyes suddenly gathered on Kiri herself. Then, the truth was also laid bare about how Rudolph had made a killing out of fraudulent business practices. And almost immediately, the couple became thought of as the most suspicious people on the island. Hideyoshi Neva's company might have been rough, but at least it had operated within the law. However, the more Rudolph's company was investigated, the more dirt was dug up. Furthermore, trouble surrounding some party tickets from the time Rudolph and Kiri were students was also testified to. It was clear that they were far more suspicious than Eva's family. Party tickets? The fuck? Oh no! Rudolph and Kiri were having fun when they were students. That reeks of suspicion. And so, in a flash, the Rudolph's family corporate fury expelled the other conspiracy theories, including the Eva corporate fury, and reigned as the greatest of them all. It wasn't really because it was more plausible than the Eva corporate fury. They had just gotten bored of the old fury and wanted a new sensation. The goats seemed to bend and undulate. The sky rapidly turned white, becoming a ceiling lit by fluorescent lamps. Oh, the goats had changed completely, becoming the shapes of girls, wearing goat masks. All the girls were wearing the same clothes. It was a uniform. The uniform of St. Lucia Academy. Oh boy, here we go. Another part of Angie's sad life is being revealed. And that is, like, the girl torturing Angie with the family corporate fury, more than likely.
本当の犯人は ルドルフとキリエなんだって。聞いた聞いた。そうだよね。娘だけ置いてくなんてなんかおかしいもんね。後ろ宮エヴァって確か本人は毒殺されてるって訴えてんでしょ。じゃあもう黒幕は誰か明白じゃん。いいよね。一族の財産すべて独り占めなんでしょ。やっぱルドルフ一家犯人説だって思ってたんだよね。後ろ宮さんってどこかおかしいって思ってたんだよね。おかしいと思ってたよね。ルドルフとキリエが犯人。バトラも犯人じゃないの。ルドルフ一家犯人説。ルドルフとキリエが犯人。財産を独り占めにしようとしたんだけどエヴァに返り討ちにあってそれで失敗して。でも結局は後宮エンジェの独り占めなんでしょ。ルドルフとキリエが犯人だって。ルドルフ一家犯人説。ルドルフとキリエとバトラが犯人。ルドルフとキリエとバトラが犯人。後宮さんのご家族が犯人なんですって。それってどう思う？ねえねえ。でも結局財産は全てあなたが独り占めできるんでしょ。後宮エヴァはそれであなたには何も語らなかったのよね。絶対にあの子が怪しいって思ってたのよ。エヴァがあんたに辛く当たったことも全て説明がつくわ。ねえねえ、何か言ってよ、感想とか。ほんと気持ち悪い子だよね。ルドルフ一家犯人説ってどう思うかちょっとくらい何か言いなさいよ。感じ悪い。
A blade of air swept over me as I crouched down, holding my head. In a flash, the illusion of the goat-headed girl students who were surrounding me shattered. I was curled up in a puddle in the rainy rose garden, surrounded by goats. But then, those goats were also sliced in half, and the upper half slid to the side. Alright, well, thank God. Life like that was getting annoying once again. For real, no one is touching baby Angie. Otherwise, you are getting the slice and the dice. It was like seeing a master swordsman slicing through a stick of bamboo.
こっち。
Oh? The voice came from that black cat. Wait. Do I recognize that voice? The black cat with a bill that had guided me here. Incredible that it can talk. But that doesn't matter now. I dashed after it. The ghost shrank back. A hole opened up in the encirclement. The black cat dashed through it. As I hurried through after it, the goat began to chase after me. Countless heavy footsteps thundered behind us. The cat ignored my stupid question. Where are we running to? It's obvious. As far away as we can make it. However, there were an unbelievable number of goats. It wasn't just a group of chasing us. There were probably goats behind him throughout the rose garden. And everywhere we went, a group of them would appear and block our path. Each time we bumped into them, we ran down a different path in this maze of a rose garden. So, I didn't even know which direction we were running in anymore. It couldn't be that we were just running around in circles inside a massive crowd of goats, could it? When we ran into the arbor once more, I learned that my fears were justified. The four paths that led from the arbor were all blocked by a crowd of goats. Of course, the path we had come down was also blocked by our pursuers. There was nowhere to go to. nowhere to return to. We were finally trapped.
黒猫さん、どうしよう。囲まれた。
Yeah, this is no good though. I wonder what can be done. With a defensive posture, the black cat glared at the goats that surrounded us. It's all over for us. At that moment, I found myself floating in the air. A massive arm, large enough to crush my entire head, had grabbed my collar from behind. Before I could even think to cry out, I saw, right in front of my face, a pair of strangely glowing red eyes, and a massive mouth with jagged teeth and a foul breath. No! Bad goat! Bad goat! You are not allowed to eat Angie. The mouth opened wide, and writhing as though it was a separate creature, a disturbing tongue stuck itself out. Then it spat words at me. What? Sorry, I cannot hear you. Then, that gaping, smelly mouth slowly began to close over Angie's head.
反論。ルドルフ一家犯人説以外でもロジックの構築は可能です。
It is her. I recognize that voice and the scythe slice. Viewers, get ready for your fridges to be emptied. A blue flash sliced off the top of the mouth that was trying to eat Angie's head, sending it flying. I fell into a puddle, along with the goat that was still grasping my collar. Now there was nothing left of it above its jaw. Without any hesitation, the goats stretched out their fake arms, as though this was their chance to snatch this prey for themselves, and they rushed towards me. All of them spoke in unison.
"ルドルフ一家犯人説以外でもロジックの構築は可能です。例えばジョージ一家犯人説でも可能です。
A red flesh and a blue line became blades of wind that passed over my head, flew at the goat that had tried to pick me up, and sliced both its arms off like a knife through butter. I think the next goat dashed, not towards me, but towards the black cat that was protecting me from behind. As I sat on my butt, staring up at the rainy night sky, the massive goats were in the air right above, fighting the black cat. Or someone.
Yeah, 可能です。犯人は殺人者のことと定義されています。そして殺人は登場人物に対して行われたものにしか限定しないとは言っていません。すなわちジョージが当該ですでに本件以外の殺人を犯していたならば、この島で誰も殺さなかったとしても犯人であり嘘をつくことが可能というわけです。
What? Okay, I guess we're going outside the boundaries of the game for that one. Yeah. I guess Ben Castell did try to be as detailed as possible about this game so that no rules would be broken, but I guess that can be considered a loophole. In which case, yeah, anyone else can be a culprit. I guess that includes Maria as well, because by that logic, George, the culprit, says that Maria couldn't kill anyone. So we cannot trust that anymore either. The deep red curves cut by the swing spit into the goat. Its massive body was knocked into the air, became a bundle of roughly 7 logs of flesh, and was thrown into the rose bushes. This time, the terrible force of the attack shocked the goats. They faltered, shook, stepped back. Finally, I understood. That red slice, it had come from a weapon that could draw red trails. No, it had also drawn blue trails just a second ago. A massive sight that could speak both types of truth, red and blue, at will. I looked up at the sky, and let my head hang down backwards. There was no black cat there. No, there sure fucking wasn't. You fucking bastard. You got me good there. You got me good. Like, I have like so many questions right now, but... Erika! It was a girl, holding a large scythe.
いかがです？フルドエリカにはこの程度の推理が可能です。
A stir passed through the crowd of goats as they acknowledged the presence of the girl who called herself Erika. It was clear that her mere existence here was pointed enough to unsettle them. Clutching me in her arms, Erika leapt into the air and landed as light as a feather on top of the armor. Then, she let go of me and, still wielding her scythe, made an elegant curtsy to the crowd of goats surrounding us. Hey! Look at you coming back all heroically to save baby Angie. And doing curtsies as if you are owning everyone. I couldn't be happier. Although, why do I suddenly get a feeling of embarrassment on top of... Oh god, you are so gonna use the funeral against me. Your words, not mine.
初対面の方々がほとんどでしょう。自己紹介です。はじめまして、こんにちは。探偵フルドエリカと申します。ルドルフ一家犯人説しか思いつかない石ころ頭どもはどうぞお引き取りを。あるいは私を論破できるおつもりでいる皆さんはどうか歓迎を。無論私も歓迎して差し上げます。
The goats all howled at once. It seemed to be a cry of shock, of fear, or possibly of wonder. The goats surrounded the armor, chattering, but not moving any closer. None of them had the courage to stand against this detective, this witch of truth called Furudo Erika.
やれやれ、イクマンと集まってこのざまですか？
They are like a bunch of internet theorists who can't accept any other opinion than theirs. And anything that goes against their theories will make them angry and look like a bunch of buffoons.
どなたもこのフルドエリカと論戦を楽しもうという勇気がないのですか？
And go figure, it is Erika who is going against them, out of all people.
ならば残念。お開きにさせていただきましょう。さりとてこのフルドエリカ、石頭の間抜け諸君を一人一人論破していくほど 時間が余ってもおりません。後片付けは彼女にお願いすることとしましょう。お願いします。
What? When Erika cried out, red cracks opened in the dark night sky. Oh. You guys are so fucked. It's the queen of goats herself. The witch with the most authentic goat scream. They look like the spiderweb-shaped fissures that appear when a glass window has been struck hard. No, it actually was a spiderweb, colored blood red. A laugh, a witch's laugh, rang out through the spiderweb covered world. It sounded somehow familiar to Angie. And there, standing above the spiderweb, gazing down on the goats who must have looked like snared little bugs, was the witch.
この私を差し置いて誰が六軒島の王者ですって？私を差し置いてルドルフが犯人？
It was the witch who lurked inside of Eva, the witch of the future, who would one day call herself an endless witch after the cat box closed over this world.
このエヴァ・ベアトリーチェを差し置いてこの島の殺人劇を誰が語ると？おこがましいと知りなさい。この島のすべての生き死には私の手のひら。すべての財産も黄金もすべて私のもの。そして猫箱に閉ざされたこの1986年10月4日も5日もすべて私のもの。このエヴァ・ベアトリーチェのもの。
Eva swung her one-winged staff at a crowd of foolish goats beneath her and sentenced them to death. Yeah, I knew that there was someone else missing from the party. I guess Better forgot to invite her. Or maybe it was intentional. The spiderweb sitting covered in the heavens plummeted, and more spiderwebs seeped out of the ground at the goat's feet. I guess this also makes sense too. Eva-Tris would also come in to protect Angie, given that this is a game where Eva is at her most wholesome with baby Angie. Like Eva herself. Then the webs from above and below met, and thousands upon thousands of goats were caught in their grasp. Yeah, if I were you, I would be scared of being on the other side of the spiderweb. Then, as Eva swung her staff, it swirled, around and round, like egg yolk being mixed in a bowl. Eventually, it was all packed into a massive blood-red lump of goo. The bones of goats drifted out from its side. The entire crowd had been compressed into a meatball a few meters across.
私が犯人であることを疑うおバカさんたち。
You know, that is one of the visuals that I'm very much interested in seeing in the manga if they did that. Like just a huge pile, like a huge bowl of meat, like being compressed by the spider web.
あなたたちはエヴァ犯人説で思考停止がお似合いです。優れて消えちゃえば。
Squelch. No other word could do that sound justice. Well, I guess this also makes sense that if we go with the George being a culprit, that means that there is still that possibility of Eva and Hideyoshi being the culprit. And thus we bring in Evatris to to do the job here, I guess. After sucking in all those goats, the spiderweb ball vanished into thin air with a scratch. That's that. There wasn't even a trace left. Only the nighttime scenery of the rose garden remained, silent, but for the sound of the falling rain. Eva drifted down from the sky.
おばさんはいつだってエンジェちゃんの味方よ。あなたの家族の悪口を言う人なんか許さないんだから。
Lovely. Now, I do have to question some stuff. What did actually happen here? Like, Erika herself came back to actually save baby Angie, and you too. Is this like an order from Bercastel? In which case, Bercastell's like she's either toying around and goes back to the idea of Eva ultimately being the murderer to fuck with Angie a little bit more here, I guess. Or Berncastel is sorta playing the role of the villain, but ultimately wants to teach Angie a lesson too, in that there is no clear answer to what happened, or something like that. And even the thought of Kiri and Rudolph being the culprits, even that idea is muddied by other possibilities. That Berncastel is acting as the villain, but helps because she too wants to become friend. Or, I guess it can be the opposite. Erika is now helping Balor in saving baby Angie in a way that makes her more free than if she were to follow Berncastel. And thus she was paired with Evatris to rescue her. Oh, Erika, to think that you would be back. And on the good side too. Now we can finally put aside our differences and fight for something grander now that you are here. And in no way do I believe that you're still gonna fight against us and continue our rivalry. Would you shut up already? Annoying as fuck.
エヴァおばさん。
I knew I should be grateful. And yet, it really wasn't easy for me to believe that Aunt Eva was my ally. Eva realized that too.
いいの。感謝されたくてしてるんじゃない。でも、私はいつだってあなたの味方よ。
Alright, well, nonetheless, I am gonna thank you, Evatris. Erika.
じゃあね。
She giggled, spun around, and vanished. Now that she had already left, I started to regret not saying even a thank you. So I figured I should at least thank the other person who had saved me.
助けてくれてありがとう。あなたはどなたですか？
I already knew her name. What I was really asking was why she had saved me.
私は探偵フルドエリカ。そして同時に魔女でもあります。魔女？真実の魔女。一なる真実を追求するものです。そしてそれはあなたのことでもありますね。
Those 2 days, October 4th and 5th, 1986. I was so desperate to know what happened that I took a step off the roof of that skyscraper, drifted through several witch games and fragment worlds, and abandoned myself to this long journey with no rewards. All I want is to know what happened that day. All I want is the single truth of that day.
それを求めるのが真実の魔女です。だからあなたは私と同じなんです。だから助けに来ました。私は知りたいの。一体 あの日に何があったの？誰も教えてくれない。誰にもわからない。でも確かにあの日に何かがあったの。私はそれを知るためなら何だって投げ出せる。それだけが私が命を捨てても知りたい唯一のことなの。だから教えて。あなたは知っているの？一体この島で何があったの？
真実の魔女にとって真実は与えられるものですか？私がこれが真実だとあなたに押し付けたなら、あなたはそれを鵜呑みにする気ですか？
Not really.
それは違う。
バトラさんはあなたに今日何を見せてくれましたか？
Today, Oni-chan showed me a bizarre Halloween party. It may have been heartwarming and a lot of fun, but it definitely wasn't the truth.
バトラさんはそれを真実だと言ってあなたに見せてくれたのではないのですか？
違う。あんなの真実じゃない。
時に他人は真実だと称して私たちを惑わします。しかし真実の魔女はそれに惑わされることなく一なる真実を追求しなければならないのです。だからあなたはバトラさんの押し付ける偽りの真実などに納得できない。本当の一なる真実を求めてやまないのです。
Oni-chan is trying to muddy the waters. I felt that this whole time. Even though he knows everything about what happened today, he won't tell me anything at all. How is he any different from Aunt Eva, who mocked me and refused to tell me anything, even until the very moment of her death? Why won't Oni-chan tell me?
どうして教えてくれないの？
The dam inside my heart bursts.
どうしてお兄ちゃんは私に本当のことを教えてくれないの？どうして私だけ知らない。私だけ誰も教えてくれない。教えてよ。あの日に何があったのか教えてよ、お兄ちゃん。お兄ちゃん。
I cried out at the rainy night sky. Hot tears poured from my eyes, but they were covered by the cold rain that beat against me, so no one other than me would know that they were tears. No one would know my pain and sadness. I'm always the only one left out, all alone.
教えてよ、誰か。あの日に何があったのか私に教えて。
誰にも教えられません。真実は自分で手にしなければならないからです。
真実はどこにあるの？どうやったら至れるの？みんなが隠す。教えてくれない。私の手で自ら至るから。お願いだから真実がどこに隠されているのかだけでも教えて。
いいわ。教えてあげてもいい。
As the voice rang out, the road bent and swirled. After blinking several times, I realized that the road had become a sea of stars. No, that's not quite right. There are stars up there in the sky, but those lights below me aren't stars. They are lights from building windows, streetlights, car lights. I was floating in the dark sky over a city lined with skyscrapers.
あなたに真実を教えることはできない。でもどうやったら真実に至ることができるのか、その道を指し示してあげることはできるわ。あんたは
Various bad memories are jumping out at me from the back of my mind. And that's right. I was chained in place in that strange theater and forced to watch a repulsive fragment where Mom and Dad committed murder.
あれを真実だとは言ってないわ。でもあんたはあれがあんたが大声で遮ったから続きが書き消えただけよ。
Yeah. I had a freaking suspicion. That was also something in the back of my mind as well.
これは全て真実とは限らないと続けようとしたのよ。あんたどこまで私をもてあそぶ気なのよ。それは謝るわ。でも試したかったの。何をよ。あなたがどのようなものであれ真実を受け止める覚悟があるのかどうかを。真実は時として期待を裏切るの。あるいは最も望まない形をとることもある。あなたに見せたあのかけらはおそらくあなたにとっては想像しうる限りの一番最悪なかけらでしょうね。でもそれに耐えてでも真実を求める力と勇気がなければあなたには真実に近づく資格はないの。
I have no comeback. Finding the truth is my goal. I just want to know what happened on that island on that day. I don't think of myself as wanting to hear only the facts that are pleasing to me. Have I really been prepared to face the bloody, unbearable truth that's probably waiting there for me? If I find the truth, you mean having to confront my family's tragic end directly, and accept it as it is. And accepting that means abandoning my faint hope for that convenient miracle. The idea that one of them might have survived somehow, and might return even though their 12 years have passed. And that is what stops you from accepting anything. Whether it is the ugliest of fragments, like Ben Costello's, or the most beautiful of them, like Balor's. Even though I know a miracle like that would be completely ridiculous. If I'm honest with myself, I have to admit that the faint hope it brought me has given me comfort these past 12 years. I want to know the truth, but I want one of them to come back. Those two wishes contradict each other. By learning the truth, I'll be forced to accept that no one's coming home.
真実はいつだって残酷よ。時にそれは自分の希望を刈り取りさえする。多くの場合、人間は真実を得ることに対する対価に気づいていない。私はあなたにその覚悟があるのかどうか問いかけただけ。
I must choose between my two contradicting wishes. Will I find the truth and abandon my optimistic hopes for my family's return? Or will I give up on the truth and keep waiting for the family that's never actually going to come back? Deceiving my numb self forever with the childish illusion my brother provided for me.